Lisa Marie, and they see the name, and then right under it they see the pinup girl, but I didn't really compute the two, and I said, "Oh, it's my mom." So they think this pinup girl on my arm with a big booty is my mom.
Like the first song, the first thing I do want to ask for all the music I did hear this morning, how many breakups have you had in your life?
A good amount. I think I just kind of had this like fascination with like I don't know. I don't know what it comes from. I just think I just like my mind and my I don't know, my frequency, if that's the word for it, just kind of like resonates with like that kind of tempo and those chord progressions and like the breakup feel. I don't know. There's something bittersweet about it. I guess I've just never really been a big fan of like lovey-dovey songs, and so I think the breakup music itself kind of resonates more with me. If that answers your question.
Oh, I think it does, yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, how did Dustin Lynch then get party mode? If it was something, you got all you accept all the whiskey drinking, mellow song. He's got the upbeat.
Yeah. Hell, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know how he got the song other than I think somebody sent it to his producer and then he got it. And we were on a writer's retreat for that song. So we were just kind of, writing away, and we were writing for my project. It was actually the songs for my second EP a few years ago that we were writing for. So whenever we got that during that writers retreat where we all, and if you don't know what a retreat is, it means we all go to like a house or a cabin or a trip, and we all sit in a house for a week or a weekend and write songs. And that song kind of came out. I guess we were all, it was towards the end of the night, on night three, and we had been drinking all day and partying all day. So I guess, we went out on the boat that day. So that evening we were all just kind of sitting around on the couch and dabbling, and that song kind of fell out, which was pretty cool.
You consider yourself more of a singer or a singer-songwriter? How do you define yourself?
Oh, I guess just an artist all around. I mean, I love, the songwriting's cool. It's never been my favorite because there's so many great songs floating around Nashville that I think that there's so many that don't get recorded. So I'm always a big fan of recording outside songs, but I try to record songs that I've written to start off a project just so I can kind of like set the trajectory of where I want the project to go. So yeah, that's I mean, so to answer your question, probably just an artist all around. But if I had to, I would, when I'm touring, I would like to say I'm an entertainer. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
three, singer-songwriter,
Yeah.
entertainer, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Well, how much, like I said, again, continuous loop since yesterday. How long does it take how long does it take to come up with your videos, to create it, write it, produce it, all that? Is that time consuming or is that just the fun part of the
Are you talking about like TikTok or music
I'm
videos?
actually your video from YouTube, actually. A lot of your new
Oh,
videos.
those are pretty quick, man. Like the song's already done, so the hardest part's done, right? So you just gotta put together a video, and I enjoy the acting part of it. Like I enjoy putting together videos and kind of coming up with plots and treatments. If I had to critique anything and make anything different, I think I would implement more acting. Like I think that's cool to be able to build a portfolio of acting. That's something I want to get into and do in the future. So I'd probably implement that a little bit more, but that's the easiest part to me is the video and coming up with the treatments. And then I have a great team that kind of we work together on that kind of stuff. And then the next thing you know, we get a music video out of it.
So it was like tying one on. Was that all acting or was that jug really a little bit of bourbon?
Yeah, well, yeah, that was well. First off, that was apple juice in there. If I had that much whiskey, I'd probably, I don't know if we'd be talking right now. Oh my gosh, it was so much apple juice. But the concept was a whiskey lemonade stand, right? I thought that'd be kind of cool to do. And actually, we kind of like thought about it on the cuff when we were talking, and that's a majority of just putting together a video is just sitting around and shooting the shit and talking and just trying to figure out what you're aiming for. And then somebody throws out an idea and then it turns into this and the next thing is that and then it molds into the video that you see now. But honestly, that's how songs are made too. Is just sitting in a room and just bullshit. And next thing you know, you get a song. So
Is that a day-to-day thing for you? Songwriting? Is
it's,
that something like a 9 to 5? Something or do you just get inspired and say, hey, let's do it. Let's put everything down and start writing.
it can be for sure. It definitely can be. It can be a day-to-day thing. But it's not every day for me. I get burnt out, man. I've done it. I've done it where I was writing like twice a day, 3, 4, 5 days a week, and it's just like you just lose stuff to sing about and to write about, and then then you start losing track of who you are a little bit sound wise. Which I think as an artist, that's the most important thing. You got to know who you are, or at least, we're always evolving, we're always changing. So it's good to be able to, I guess, try to recenter yourself. So, I mean, to me, recentering myself means taking a few days off, kind of recentering, figuring out how I want to approach it, or a few weeks off. Hell, I haven't written in about 3 weeks. It's been about 3 weeks since I've written a song, and I'm okay with it. I'll take 3 more weeks if I have to. It's honestly like it's a nice little vacation to do, nice little reset.
And another relationship, then just get inspired and write a whole new
Yeah.
EP.
Yeah.
Well, how about Missouri on My Mind? How did you hook up with Mizzou for that? That was another good.
Yeah. Are you a college football guy?
I'm from Pennsylvania, so I was in Penn State country. And what's his name? The quarterback. He's now I'm a Jet fan, so he's a practice squad now. I can't think of
Yeah.
his name right now. Cook was that his last name?
Brady.
Brady Cook.
Brady Cook. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah.
at the Jets now, so he's on a practice squad. So that's my
Yeah. And
this is
he's
my
doing
Missouri.
good. He
Hmm?
did all right during preseason. He's a good dude. Yeah. So we got involved with Mizzou. I mean, I've been a Missouri fan since I was a kid. I mean, it's probably been. I think my first game I went to, I was probably 6 or 7. I was really young. I was maybe even younger. I don't remember, but it was. I was definitely really young, and I remember they played Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but it was, I've always been a big Tigers fan. I'm very proud of where I come from. I come from Missouri, so I come from Parkville, Missouri, so it's right outside Kansas City. And you have your options. You can pick from Kansas State, KU, or Missouri. And I was born and raised in the state of Missouri. I'm gonna be a Missouri Tigers fan. So, and it's cool. We're in the SEC, so we're in a competitive conference in the South, and I live in the South. I live in Nashville, so it's cool to see Missouri on a competitive ball field. And if they come to Nashville, they're playing Vanderbilt. I get to go to those games and rep my team. So they're not too far away. I don't have to hop on a plane to go see them. So I wrote that song, and I messaged the athletic director at the time. I was like, hey, I wrote a Mizzou song and nobody's ever done that. I mean, there was like one little fun parody song back in the day, but this is a serious one. And I want it to be a love letter to the state of Missouri, but also the fans of Missouri, Missouri football, because Missouri has like this beautiful loyalty to football and to its fans and to the team, regardless of how good we're doing. And that's kind of hard to find these days. I mean, it's easy to kind of pick out a favorite team and run with it and be a bandwagon fan with all the different media outlets and sources and TikTok and whatnot. But Mizzou fans are really, really loyal, which is why I wrote that song. So sent it to the athletic director. Next thing you know, he posted it on Instagram and TikTok, and then it blows up. And then we had to release the song. And my label at the time didn't want to release the song at all. They were like, "You're not a football guy. This is not your thing." Um, and that was a mistake to say to me because I'm a diehard Mizzou fan. So of course I took it personal. So much so that I went and got a tattoo that says MIZ on my arm just to be able to prove a point. Like we have to record this song. Why I did that, I don't know, but I did. So.
Any other regrettable tattoos, or is that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have one that I regret dearly, and I'll tell you why. It's my mom. I love my mother. It so my mom's name's Lisa Marie. It's on my arm right here, and I've made a couple TikToks about it. It says Lisa Marie, and that's my mom's name. And I'm a diehard Elvis fan, and she's named after Lisa Marie Presley. So I took the font from the side of the Elvis Presley airplane called the Lisa Marie, and I put the same font and my mom's name right there. But the tattoo under it, I got much later. Just terrible timing. I had been drinking and I walked into a tattoo shop and got this tattoo, and it's a pinup girl that's dressed like in an Elvis jumpsuit from the 70s. And I've come up with a million excuses as to why I got this tattoo and what it represents and blah blah blah. And it just comes down to I just wanted it. And so what people are like, "Oh, who's Lisa Marie?" And they see the name, and then right under it they see the pinup girl, but I didn't really compute the two. And I said, "Oh, it's my mom." So they think this pinup girl on my arm with a big booty is my mom, and that's not the case at all. So yeah, I'd probably, if I could go back and do that one over again, I'd probably just redo the placement. But it is what it is.
What a conversation starter.
Yeah,
You can never go wrong with that one.
yeah,
Did you play football in high school
yeah. I did. I played football. I did all the sports. The sport I kind of fell in love with the most is there's two sports. Rugby. I played rugby.
oh,
and I still play with Nashville, the men's team here, when I can. I took off this past summer, and then I'm probably going to miss most of this fall. It's great conditioning, so definitely good for workouts. Not very good for the facial structure. It's a rough sport, as you know, and the other sport that I love and grew up loving is racing. So IndyCar, NASCAR, anything with four wheels, Formula One.
Okay.
And I grew up karting, so as of recently, kind of got back into that in the past year or two, and that's something I really want to pursue is getting more into racing. It's a very expensive sport, so you got to find avenues and ways to fund that because being a singer songwriter, artist, entertainer ain't gonna pay for the racing bills. That's expensive. So yeah.
Oh, you were just at Indy too, weren't you? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I went to Indianapolis. My buddy's dad owns a race team, so they were doing a Formula Four and USF 2000, I think is what it was, or F3. They were running out there, and it was cool to go see the young up and comers who are probably going to be in IndyCar at some point. Running out there. So
Yeah, I did my first 500 this year, and it was
yeah,
totally mind blowing. Yeah,
yeah. How was that?
it was. Like I said, mind blowing. It was just the crowd. I went there. I went both days, Saturday, Sunday, and it was just what 500,000 people. Is that what it is, or 400,000, 500,000? The funny is,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all
about
had to
half a
leave. I
million.
think they tell you to leave 100. I think with about 75 laps to go, just so you can get out of there in time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
by the time I got out of there, got back to the hotel, they're on like 5 laps to go, and Pillow ended up winning it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and he's the freaking Indy champion, man. That guy's he is one hell of a driver. And it's always really cool to see him do his thing. But like IndyCar is just interesting because it's an American sport at the end of the day. Unlike F1 is a European sport primarily and predominantly is that. But IndyCar it's very diverse. You can get people from all over the world, but at the end of the day, it's still an American sport, and the Indy 500 is still an American holiday, in my opinion, because it's on Labor Day weekend. So, yeah, I really would want to go again. I went as a kid a few times and got to experience it, so would love to go back.
do you drive? Do you drive at all, or?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, I got that's kind of how the bug bit me. Obviously, like I said, grew up karting, and then last year I went and tested a Formula Four car, and I spent like 3 days testing in an F4 car, and that's pretty incredible because it's just like an F1 car but a little smaller, uh, kind of like an F1 car, I guess, a little slower, but still you're pulling G forces. It's still very fast. It's aggressive, and it is, man, it's thrilling. So yeah, that's when the bug bit me even more, and now I'm like, I'll do whatever I got to do. I gotta find ways to fund that because that's a
How,
very, like I said, it's very expensive.
how fast was that? How fast did that go?
Any between like 155, 160. So, but it only weighs 1,200 pounds or 1,300 pounds. So you feel like you're strapped to a rocket ship. You're going 300 miles an hour in your mind. You know.
When you were doing that, do you feel like you had to be in shape in a way just to hold on, just to keep control of that, or?
You definitely have to be in shape.
Mhm.
You cannot be out of shape when you're doing that. And in racing in general, it's very physical. To be able to, like I said, I did 3 days of testing, and the first day was kind of getting warm, learning the car, going through the gear shifts, and I would test. I would if anybody knows anything about gear shifts, you got the paddle shifts behind the steering wheel, so you're kind of just going through and running through and testing the gears and figuring out where your shift points are, where your brake points are, where your throttling is going to be at, your exits, entries, all that stuff. And man, the amount of G forces you pull. I mean, it's pretty much equivalent to like a fighter jet or any other race car where you're pulling G forces. And if anybody doesn't know what a G force is, 3 Gs means 3 times your body weight. 2 Gs, 2 times your body weight. 4 or 5, whatever it might be. And yeah, it's about 2.5, 3 Gs. And so you feel that pressure on your neck more than anything because your neck, you got to have a really strong neck. And thankfully, I take really good care of my body. I work out. I try. At one point, I was doing it twice a day. I've kind of gone down to once a day right now. I'm not playing rugby, so I'm kind of taking it easy on the body.
But where are your workouts like now? What do you do?
Yeah, I got these splits. Like you've heard of push pull press,
Hmm?
and I like that. Um, I got on. I'm really big about peptides. I got into peptides.
Okay.
I got into testosterone, like the HRT stuff. And not that granted, I'm only 29. It's not usually the age you want to start HRT. But I got on it, and I'm very open about it because I when I was younger, I dabbled with steroids, and that kind of screwed me up. I think it was fun while it lasted, but it was the long term effect. I think was crashes your hormones. So I think when you're on testosterone and you're lifting and you're doing peptides and creatine and whatever, you're gonna get bigger. You're just gonna put on masks. I was eating all the time, and I didn't like that. I felt like I just got puffy in my face. I felt heavy. I was having to go get blood taken out all the time by donating, and I didn't like that, man. It made me feel cloudy and foggy. So cut my doses down on the testosterone, and then started trying different peptides like BPC 157 and cardarine and all these different compounds. And man, it was like, and I switched my workouts to more of cardio, like hit training, and trying to focus on strength rather than size. And man, that's made a world of difference just on how I feel and in my endurance. Because you got to play rugby, you got to have endurance, and obviously with racing too. But just in life, man, I feel like it obviously keeps you young. It's good for your heart. So that's kind of my workout is more or less like today. I'll start with a jog. I'll start with a 30-minute jog or a light walk, 12% incline, 3.5 miles an hour, which is still a pretty heavy workout for your cardio. And then I'll go and I'll do the kettlebell swings and the squats, the kettlebell squats. I've switched into doing more pull-ups and push-ups, and then some lightweight training in there as well.
Well, gotta ask, what first started you on steroids? Was it for rugby, or was it for performance, or was it to look
Yeah.
good on stage, or all the above, or
I mean, yeah, I wanted to look good on stage. I thought that, look, it does work. There's no doubt about it. It does work. Anybody, obviously people we think steroids, we think bad, we think negative. But the truth is, it drives me nuts. You see these superheroes, these athletes, or these these actors in these movies, in these superhero movies, selling these workout programs. If you want to look like Thor, here's how you got to work out and eat, and that's complete bullshit because 99% of them are on steroids. They're on stacks, whether that's testosterone base, and then they're on anadrol or tren, in these different steroid compounds that they're trying out, and they have to do it because it gives you that aesthetic. There's no way you can prep for a movie in 6 months and put that much size on and that much muscle, and look that dry without some compounds to help. And they do it under supervision. They have great trainers. It's not a bad thing. But I thought for the longest time, I'm like, man, I don't know why why don't I look like Thor? I'm doing the exact workouts. I'm doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Why do I not look like that? One, some of it's genetic. And then two, I didn't realize they were stacking with it. So I got on a stack and I was like, oh, wait, actually, this does work. Holy crap. I've never looked like this before. Um, but there's a cost to it, just like there's a cost to anything. It's like you could smoke cigarettes, you might like it, but you do it enough, you're going to feel some effects from it. And so when I got off, I felt like crap. I had no idea. I even did the post cycle therapy you're supposed to do, and I couldn't understand why I didn't feel good. It was making me irritated and grumpy. And hell, the label I was at the time, the label head, he was like, "Man, you're irritated today." I'm like, "I don't know why," because I'm always running like a cool 68 degrees. I don't get irritated.
mm,
At least in the music stuff, I try to stay pretty calm. Um, but man, I was all over the place. And then I got on testosterone because I didn't realize my testosterone was super, super, super low, like that of like a 80-year-old man.
damn.
Um, then I got on a standard HRT dose, and that really helped me out a lot. It really did.
So, one or two more questions on that, because this is really fascinating now. But
Yeah,
what were your gains? What were your gains like when you did stack? When you
they're crazy. Yeah, so I started with test. That was my first. I feel like that's the start, right? Everybody starts with testosterone. It's like you get on it, dude. I was starting off at 250 milligrams starting dose, and then I got up to 500 milligrams of testosterone. Who, if you don't know, if whoever's listening doesn't know what that does to your body, it is. I mean, like the average test, I think obviously people's testosterone have dropped. Men's testosterone has dropped over the years. I'm really into like hormones. I'm super into it. I've been very interested in it. I've studied it a lot. Um, and I think it starts at like 300 uh, to up to like 980, I think is the range of testosterone where you want to be. I was like 1500. I was like way off the chart, and I felt heavy, and I was just felt like it's like I breathed real hard. But then I was like, okay, I'll cut that dose down, and then I found out about other steroids: Sustanon, Tren, Anadrol. God, what's the other one? A few other ones I got to think of, but I got on them and I did a whole stack of, Anabol, or not Anabol, Anavar. Got on Anavar. That's kind of like basic, basic one. And oh my gosh, it worked. It worked. The gains were big. I had big old abs and pecs, and it worked. My muscles, my shoulders got more broad. I'm short. Like I'm a short guy. I'm 5'9.5" on a good day, or 5'10" on a good day. I'm 5'9" usually. It depends on what size boots I wear that day. So, uh, my I just looked ridiculous. Like it didn't. It. I don't. Granted, I'm not working with the professional celebrity trainer, so there's probably definitely workouts I could have done to tailor, my body to what it needed to be. But yeah, no, it worked. The gains were awesome, and I think I put on. Oh, this is a good one. Whenever my first EP came out, 2020, um, I was 175 pounds, pushing 180 sometimes, depending. My weight fluctuated. Uh, when I got off of my last steroid stack, which really wasn't that long ago, to be honest with you, it was last year. I I weighed 215 pounds.
Whoa.
That's a lot of weight to put on like that fast. Even over a period of a couple years, that's like not good. That's a lot of heart. That's hard on your heart and your body. Um, and so now I'm back down to a good 187, 188 right now, which is where I'd be happy to stay. I'm
That was,
awesome. Yeah.
so that was an obvious jump then. So
Yeah,
there's been,
yeah. It's not I like I said, I'm not bashing on steroids. I think there's safe ways to take them. Obviously not for professional sports. That doesn't work out very well for anybody. But there's safe ways if you're going to do it. I'm not going to condone it, but there's safe ways to do it. But for the most part, I think I just feel better just doing what I do now, which is just my normal testosterone and then peptides. Like I said, peptides are really, really important to me. And I think they provide a numerous amount of wealth to your body, depending on which ones you run.
was it hard taking the weight off afterward, or did it just
Yeah,
come on?
yeah. The calorie deficit. Oh my God, that was so hard because you can't perform the same in the gym or in life in such a calorie deficit to try to cut weight that fast. Like I cut weight at 215. I cut down to like 195 in a matter of like 2 months, right around. And that's a lot of weight to cut, but I was doing it in such an aggressive way where I would go and I'd run for an hour on the treadmill, and then I'd go lift and try to do more hits, so my heart rate would always stay in like a zone 4 or zone 5. It was ridiculous. And then I'd go sit in the sauna, and a lot of it was water retention that I was holding on to because a lot of muscle holds on the water, blah blah blah. And then cutting out the shit. The alcohol was a big one. I love the taste of beer. Oh my God, I don't know why I love beer so much. It's the Midwestern in me, but
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah, anything else? No.
Yeah, not my thing. Yeah, like liquor and I just don't mix very well anymore. That's just
Mm.
not my cup of tea. But that's a hard one. Um, and then just the late night snacking, I think, is the hardest part. So once you can get through all the food noise and get through all of that, yeah, you'll feel real good. And you get down to it was easy to take the weight off once I kind of cut like week 2, week 3. My body kind of started going into fat burning mode, and I felt better.
Well, you said you were irritable with it. Did it affect your creativity at all?
Oh yeah, yeah, it did. It really did. So the best way to compare it is, so I had years ago, I got really hooked on Adderall. I was doing Adderall a lot. Um, very common for a young artist to get hooked on something like that because you're expected to create and be 100%, 100% of the time. And that's just not feasible. Like that's just not conducive to a lifestyle of trying to be the best artist you can be. So yeah, I supplemented with stuff that I felt like was helping me mentally. And like, any kind of cognitive help I would take. Um, Working out was something I wasn't doing. Fast forward now, working out is fantastic for your brain, but Adderall allowed me to really focus and hone. And I wrote some of my best songs, my favorite songs, while I was hooked on Adderall. And once I got off of that, I noticed a massive performance dump because you get all these dopamine highs and then you drop them. Well, the same thing for steroids. It's like you feel fantastic when you're on a stack. You feel great. And if you're not doing it correctly, because I clearly wasn't for a long time, yeah, I felt like crap after. Man, oh my God, I felt like a massive creativity dump because you're depressed, you're anxious, depression, anxiety, all these different things you start to experience. And God, that's a real bummer because that's my whole job. But man, there's also this thing where I feel like there's like a hush hush about being open about like steroid use and the things you've done. You get, on TikTok, nobody wants to talk about it. People are really closed off about it. Um, and in the country music community, I'm sure there's people who've done the same thing, and nobody wants to talk about it. Like it's like this forbidden conversation, and I think that's horseshit. It's like, why not talk about it? It's like if it could help somebody, not steroids, but if my advice to them is you, learn what you're doing, study your body, and know what works for your body. Sometimes just good old fashioned going for a run will do somebody wonders.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well, how long did it take you to get back, I guess, from the bottom back onto your, I guess, level 68 creativity mode?
Um. Oh, good. A good few months. It
Mhm.
really did. I'm still kind of dialing in, man. I don't know if I've ever meant. I don't know if I'll ever be normal because your hormones. I mean, that's such an important part of your body. Your body runs on hormones. So when you are on supplementing with like HRT and testosterone, you're trying to find that balance somewhere in between. Where it's like not too much estrogen, not too much testosterone. So you're just trying to find the right amount. And that's been the hardest. Because you got to keep your blood work in check. I get blood work done all the time, every 6 months, and just trying to see where my markers are. Because I also think that's going to be your blood, your body can tell you a lot. Those markers can tell you a lot about your longevity in life too, how long you're going to be alive for. you know. So yeah.
Well, your diet have to change now, or what are you normally eating now?
You know, Not nothing crazy. I mean, this sounds bad. There's days I eat for taste, right? I eat for pleasure. I enjoy
Mhm.
it. But for the most part, dude, I eat for fuel. Like I won't eat until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I just not that I have to. I just don't feel hungry. I just eat when I'm hungry. Now, if I'm playing rugby I'm in a heavy period where I want to, look good or I feel really good, physically, yeah, I'll start tailoring up the meals and I'll put myself, 3 to 5 meals of 4 or 5 meals a day to try to keep the metabolism, kick in and the muscle growth going. But for the most part, when I'm not, man, I'm just eating, twice, 3 times a day, at the most, and just light snacking. If it is, it's something kind of healthy, kind of boring. Like I said, I eat for fuel for the most part. But on a weekend, college football's on, I'll drink a beer and or two or three, and then eat. Like last week I had prime rib, so and mashed
Uh,
potatoes. Can't go wrong.
had any horse meat lately, or I,
I've had horse meat.
I saw the research on. I was doing some research. I caught
Yeah,
that one. So
yeah,
what is an adventurous eater? What's the definition of that?
yeah. I think that kind of stuff. It's like I'm sure the PETA people will freaking come after me for saying that. But yeah, no, I've had horse meat. I had it in France. I went to France when I was much younger, and I went and it was good. It was really lean. I'm like, dude, if athletes had horse meat as their normal everyday thing, I think that there would be a massive aesthetic build a difference. Like it's crazy how lean it is. Um, but sometimes lean isn't always the best, man. You gotta have a little bit of fat on, like a steak. I had my grandparents own a Longhorn farm, and so like whenever I go visit them, they'll send me home with Longhorn, and it's a good. It's not bad. It's good. It's just really lean and it cooks really fast, so it's really easy to overcook it. Um, versus like an elk where there's muscle on it, but there's some fat on it.
Mm.
Same with deer. It's like it tastes different, and it's gamey, but it's good. Um, yeah, so I think you got to have a little bit of fat on the food. But in adventurous eater, I've had all sorts of crazy stuff, dude. Yeah, God, I mean, frog legs are crazy, and that's those are good.
What's your refrigerator stocked with now? What's the craziest thing in there?
Oh,
Mhm.
Longhorn probably. I use it for my dogs, like as a topper for their food. But the craziest thing in my refrigerator right now, probably just leftover. Uh, like, well, no, I ate carrot cake last night. I did have a few bites of carrot cake. That was the craziest thing in my refrigerator, honestly.
That's not too crazy. That's fairly normal. But
Yeah,
I was going to ask, going back to some more research. It said the day after high school, you packed up, left Missouri, went right to Nashville. How did
yeah,
Is that how
yeah,
that came about? Was that a long-term plan? Was that something in the making, or was that just very spontaneous?
yeah. I had a shoebox as a kid under my bed. I'll never forget where the shoebox came from. It was from Zoomies, the skateboarding shop, because there was a period of time where like skateboarding shoes were cool
Hmm.
so I got a pair of shoes from there, but I didn't like the shoes, so I took the shoes out, but I liked the box. The box was really cool.
Hmm.
So when the skate shoes they weren't my thing. I couldn't pull them off. I was just trying to fit in, but the box was so cool. So I cut a hole in the top and I wrote Nashville on it, and I put it under my bed. And I would just like any spare change I had, I'd put it in there. I think I had a few $100 in there at one point. And then a girl wanted to go to a movie or something like that, and we went to. My parents dropped me off at a movie theater, and then went to the restaurant across the street and blew all that money. So but that was the thing is I wanted to go to Nashville since I was a young kid, and when I graduated high school, that was the goal. It's like I had teachers. I had a teacher tell me, I was daydreaming too much. All I did was daydream, and every single time I was daydreaming about moving to Nashville and becoming a country singer. So she was like, you're never gonna make it. It's not how this works. Like you need to go to college, get a degree, and I guess I just kind of have the FU kind of mindset a little bit. I was like, well, I'm gonna show you, and I had to do it. I had to go. Um, so when I graduated high school, I moved. I got down here, kind of got settled in, and then I went back to work for my mom for a little bit just to make some money before I fully moved. So it was July 4th, 2015, and I went for it. I left, and I left the day after July 4th, I guess, and then I fully moved down here, got settled in, and everything, and I hit the ground running. I had no idea what I was doing. I was 18 years old. You have to be 21 to go any of the bars here. Even to play in some of these bars, you got to be 21. So the next few years were trying the network, but like I said, I wasn't 21, so I couldn't go out and network too much. And it was just playing shows when I could, if I could, but mostly just working odd jobs to save money. And back then rent was $600, and that was a lot of money for rent. I was these days rent's astronomical, but back then $650, $700, that was hard to come by when you're working a job and you're only making, you know, $1,000 a month or $1,100 a month. That's not very easy to live off of because you still got to pay for food. So I'd work multiple jobs, and I ended up getting a job as a merch guy selling T-shirts, where I traveled the country and whatnot. So I figured how to beat the whole not being 21 and going out and meeting people um, was to make YouTube or like YouTube and Instagram videos because TikTok wasn't a thing. So when the artist would go in during sound check, I'd sneak my guitar onto the bus late night before when we all get loaded up the night before. So that next morning they'd all go into sound check and I would just go and I'd play acoustic cover songs. And then before, excuse me, they were done with sound check, I'd put my guitar in its case and put it right back under the bus. I post the video and it looked like I was on my own tour bus. So I made myself look much bigger than I actually was. And next thing you know, I got a publishing deal and a record deal, and one thing led to another, and I was, off to the races.
Wait, let me back up a little bit here. So you went on tour buses? You snuck on a tour?
Yeah. So when you're
Who's some of the names of the tour buses that you snuck on?
Yeah. So, well, when you're a merch guy, you ride the tour bus, depending
Oh,
on the size of the act. So I was
oh,
selling
okay.
T-shirts. Yeah. Sorry, I jumped over that. That was my bad.
Oh,
When you're selling T-shirts, you're a merch guy, and so you know you're selling T-shirts for artists. Like for me, it was Easton Corbin, Jody Messina, Shenandoah. So like these people, these artists that I grew up listening to and looking up to. So you ride the tour bus, but in the morning you do sound check. So the band would go in and the artists would go in to do their sound check. And I had free time all day because I wasn't selling T-shirts yet. So I would wake up at right when we get there in the morning, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. I'd go in and get my merch loaded in, get everything ready to roll, have it all set up so that I could kind of just screw off the rest of the day and go explore and go eat and whatever.
mhm.
But when they would go in for their sound check right around like 10 a.m. or noon, I'd bust my guitar out, play a couple cover songs or an original song, and then get back, put the guitar back real quick before they'd get back from sound check so that they weren't like, oh my God, this guy's using our bus for, this kid. I was only 19 years old, 20 years old at the time. So, yeah, that was definitely, I was a kid, man. And that got me a publishing deal. And I think a lot of it was just looking bigger than you actually were. That's back when you could kind of fake it. These days, it's like hard to fake that shit. You know,
Did anyone ever catch on, or anyone ever notice?
I think they did.
Mhm.
The Shenandoah guys did. But they embraced it. I think they saw how hungry and eager I was, and I think that really shows their character. They were great, man. They really are. They're some of the best people I've ever met and been around. And they didn't. It was just kind of one of those things like don't advertise, don't push it, don't annoy us with your stuff, and you're good to go. So I just didn't, and I think the same for Easton Corbin. He caught on, especially when I got a publishing deal because I got busier and I started missing shows and I couldn't make it and I had to get a substitute to come out. And next thing you know, I was a full fledged writer. And then, fast forward 2 years later, I've got a song on the Billboard charts and then I'm, on Rolling Stone. And then next thing you know, I'm, touring. So yeah, yeah, no.
Well, from there, I mean, from sneaking on the tour bus or sneaking on the sets, I should say.
Yeah.
Hey, teaming up with Ashley Cook on some songs, touring with Sam Hunt. How's your career evolved? Like from that day one back on the merch bus. Wait, merch bus?
Yeah. Yeah.
How has it evolved from there until like today?
It's a good question. It just does. It happens so fast. I was actually on a podcast yesterday talking to somebody and I was like, I really wish there's days I wish now. My record label and I just parted ways for the first time. We've been together 7 years. We just parted ways. I mean, it was time. And there's days I wish I would look back and just been like, man, I wish I would have taken it in because that it's so crazy how fast some of this happened. Um, so, yeah, it just evolves. It happens so quick. One thing leads to another. You have a booking agent, you have a business manager, you have a label, you have a manager, and everybody's taking a percentage, but it's like they're all serving a purpose and doing their thing, and you're doing this. You have these highs. The music industry is a lot like the stock market, or an artist career is a lot like it. It's like you ride these waves that are really high, and then you have these crashes, and then you have these highs, and these plateaus, and whatnot. And I think I just stayed on the ride long enough. It's just evolved. It's just done its thing, and you got to go into a season of rebranding every once in a while. So yeah, no, it evolved quickly. I don't know how. It just did. I think it's just persistence, constantly releasing music. I think that's a big one. Is always making sure there's music for people to listen to and discover you. And then you meet people along the way that want to do collabs and want to work with you. So yeah, and I know you had Jordan Davis on. Man, Jordan's a great guy. Yeah, I mean, I met Jordan for the first time whenever I was a merch guy working for Shenandoah, and Shenandoah was one of his favorite bands of all time. And he was such a new artist. Hell, he had only had one number one at the time. He had just gotten his first number one, and they were celebrating and did a plaque that night. We were in Iowa, and the guy has not changed one bit. He's been the same, just humble, sweet, nice human being. Um, for years. He's been the same guy. You know, obviously he's big old rock star, but he's just been so sweet. So yeah, that's a good person you had on
Yeah,
your
he was
podcast.
great. He's a great guy. Did you interact? I mean, did you work with him or?
No, I've opened up for him. I played a few shows with him. Played two shows with him in the last few years, and they were great. He knows who I am. We got to know each other that way. The manager I had at the time is his manager currently still. So there's that. Like there's it's a small community. So no, he's just man, and his brother. I've ran with his brother a few times and got to know his brother, and then some of his co-writers and whatnot. So it's a real family network kind of thing here in Nashville.
I mean, during this whole time when you're starting out to now, I mean, do you have time to even emphasize or to even worry about your health? You're working out when you're like just struggling, when you're hustling, just trying to get noticed. Is that even on the priority list?
Yeah, well, when I first started, there was nothing to do, right? Except like like I said, I wasn't 21. So when I first started, all I did was I lived right next to Gold's Gym, so I would just go to Gold's Gym. That's all I did. I worked out at Gold's Gym. I did. I was going at one point. I was going 3 times a day just because I was bored. You know, like at some point, you're going to overwork out. You're not going to get any gains because you're just doing the same stuff over and over again. But man, I was in great shape. And then when my music started taking off, yeah, I kind of got lazy a little bit because I was so busy. I was burnt out. It's like you write for 7 hours a day, and then you think it's actually a relatively easy job, right? You go in and write at 11 a.m. and you get done at 4, usually 3 or 4. Um, so that's 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. But then you still got you got meetings or you go to another write and you got social media. And by the time you're done with it, you're just kind of tired. You're just kind of worn out. So working out, it was real easy to create excuses for myself. And then when you go on the road, and you go on your first tour, you want to drink, you want to party, you want to socialize, you eat like crap because you're eating at gas stations or truck stops. And then I think for me, maturing was realizing how to stay healthy while I was on the road and prioritize, number one, your mental health, and number two, your physical health. So instead of eating that churro or that hot dog at 12 a.m. in the morning, um, I'd eat like a cheese stick and some beef jerky. It's like you kind of slowly supplement like that. But these days, no, it's real easy to take care of myself. It's not hard. And I'm sure when you have more success and more fame, like Brett Young or Jordan Davis, um, you can have trainers out on the road with you if you want to. You can have a full gym out there. You're on your tour bus, which is like a house on wheels. But you know, I've been in vans and trailers and had to do it that way. And I have had the bunks and everything like that, and the living room on tour. It's cool. It definitely makes life a little easier, but the working out, there's always a gym nearby. I've kind of learned to stop making excuses for myself. Go find a gym, and don't if you see everybody eating and drinking and partying, good in moderation. Just do the opposite of that. So yeah, discipline.
Well, do you do any, I guess, meditation or any kind of mindfulness just to keep your head straight?
No, I wish I did.
Mhm.
So I think that's probably where my downfall is ADHD. I'm sure I have it. It's I get bored. It sounds crazy. I just get bored, like sitting there and meditating, and that's how I know I'm not doing it right. Because meditation shouldn't make you bored. It should make you focused and locked in. Are you big into that? I don't know how to do it. So if you have any advice, let me know.
All right, shameless plug here, but it's called Brain Tap. It's a headphone still. Let me just pull it open for you.
Oh man, I've heard about. Wait. Yeah, I heard about this. I saw it on TikTok one time.
Yeah, it's one of these things. It's a headset.
Yeah.
It really is works. I won't say works wonders, but when you get in the zone with it, because it has like 30,000 different programs, like no, it has a lot. Where I said it has it's like a blue light and it has like a little, I don't even know what you call them in the ear blood buds, but it has all kind of meditation programs where you just breathe, you listen, and it goes really well. It goes. You're 20 minutes later, you're refreshed. You almost you zone out basically. Is what I'm trying. That's
Huh.
not the greatest description ever, but like you zone out a little bit on it for like 5, 6 minutes into it, and then you can just feel yourself when it's over. You do feel refreshed. You do feel like, hey, I'll do what I'm writing, is what I'll do.
Yeah,
When I start writing at 20 minutes, like an hour into it, and I can't struggle to write something, I'll go brain tap a little bit, and then
man.
20 minutes later, I'll start up again. And I can just write fresh for 45 minutes to an hour really well. And then sometimes you do it all over again until you get it all finished. But it's just one of those things I would do.
I might look at one of those when we get off, man. I might check that out. I hear a lot of the guys on the rugby team meditate and they swear by it. Like one of our captains, like he swears by it, and he's like, man, it's so good. Just start your day first thing in the morning, meditate. I know Dirk Bentley's really big into
Uh-huh.
that. So I need to figure that out. So I'll look that up whenever we're
It's
done.
like 15, 20 minutes, and that's all you really need. I would think it would be like 30 minutes, a half hour, whatever.
Yeah.
That's more of a nap than when I do that, but
Yeah, that's my thing is I'll probably end up falling asleep, but I guess that's kind of the point, right? You want to fall into kind of a trance.
and that's what it is. It's like I said, about halfway until you'll just zone out a little bit, and then boom, toward the end, you pick back up, and you're refreshed.
Where are you from? You got an accent. I can hear it.
No, I'm 25 years in New York, and now I'm out in Phoenix.
Okay, I hear the New York. That's cool,
I
man.
never knew I had it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a light hint, but I love New York, man. I don't know what part of New York. New York City?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love New York. I love people from New York. I'll tell you why I like people from New York. You always know where you stand with them. It's like
Mhm.
there's no bullshit. It's like that if they when they like you, you know when they don't, and if they do like you, they got your back and they're your most loyal friend. Like I think it's really cool. I have a lot of buddies from New York, and they're always end up being like the most awesome people. So I love New York. Love I've never been to New York City though. So I need to go up there.
No, that's where the tour. You got to put your tour out there.
Yeah, I
That's
played the New York State Fair, like New York State, but
okay.
never been in New York
Where's
City.
the state fair? That's up in. Is that? That's not Albany. That is. Where's
Um,
Albany? I'm not even sure. It's not Buffalo. It's not Albany. I can't remember
yeah,
where it's at. So I'll have to look it up as soon as I get off. I'll be looking that up. Well, do
it's
you have a tour lined up now, or?
we're working on it.
Mhm.
I haven't had a booking agent for a minute, so we're just trying to, we got to find the right fit for a booking agent. It's not easy to find a solid booking agent. There's a million of them. Finding the one that works best for you. You know, every artist works different with a different booking agent. So just trying to find a new fit for that and not rushing that process at all.
Now, you consider yourself still an independent artist, or?
As of recently, yeah. No, yeah. Like I said, parting ways with my label, that makes me an independent artist, which, back in the day, that's doom, right? I'm like, oh no, God, you're independent. That sucks. Everybody wants to be on a label. These days, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if anything, it's empowering. You could be, you have the power and control in your hands to put out music when you want to. Now, there's some downsides. Obviously, you got the label funding, but you know, that's fine. I mean, releasing music frequently and releasing a lot of it is usually really hard to do while you're on a label. Especially when they have other acts and stuff like that. You kind of got to fall into a timeline. I don't have to do that anymore, which is pretty nice.
So how many hats do you have to wear now as a independent
All
artist?
of them, but I've always been kind of, I have a great manager, so that takes a lot of the weight off. But we lean on each other, it's a team effort. She don't work for me; we work together, and that's how you get any of the shit done. So yeah, there's a little bit more hats I have to wear. Like I got sent a spreadsheet yesterday as we're doing like this stuff, with the label, getting off of the label and everything, and they're being great about it. They're awesome. It's just time. They they sent me a spreadsheet, and it's like what I pay for monthly. I didn't know I was paying $500 a month for website services. Like I was like, what are you talking? How do I? what do we do? Like it's all these different services I have to use to run my business, and I didn't really realize that. So there's stuff that labels do pay for that you gotta keep an eye on. So I gotta figure that out now. I'm like, man, I gotta figure out where do I need to cut back? What do I need to add? So it's definitely gonna be a learning curve for the next few weeks, maybe a few months, but we'll get there.
Well, how was it? I didn't even. I didn't ask. Was now with all the extra hats you have to wear now, all the responsibilities. Where do you get the time to sleep now? What's your rest schedule like?
Dude, this sounds so bad. And maybe this is definitely gonna come back to haunt me eventually. I don't sleep that much. I don't. Man, I can run, and maybe it's just from touring. I've always been like this though since I was a kid. I can run on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, no problem, easy. and my brain still can run at 100 miles an hour. We get a few months into that habit, I start to get a little moody and tired and whatnot. But I just find myself going to bed at midnight,
Mm.
and I'll wake up middle of the night, 3 to 5. I'm usually up again watching a YouTube video or something, and I just kind of like I'm kind of a night owl. I'll fall asleep, I'll wake up for a few hours, go back to bed, wake up, go back to bed, and that's just it, man. Like I don't know what it is, I don't know why, I just am that way. So yeah,
After brain tap, try a Whoop or a Aura Ring. Let it
I
monitor
have a
your, let
Whoop.
it, do it.
Yeah, yeah, dude, that was not good. That was so bad to watch my sleep. It made me feel like crap. But it was important. That's how I was able to track a lot of my calories and my workouts. I just need it's in my car. I just need to put it back on. I get in this habit where I take it off and don't wear it for a long time, and I'm still paying for the subscription. Um, but yeah, no, I would wear it, and then I would see my sleep cycle, and they'd be like, you're in like whatever in the red constantly, dude. I would just be in the red all the time, constantly.
Mhm.
Uh, Actually, like there was a couple of guys on the rugby team had this thing that I can sign up for and get in the whoop. You get the little whoop competition with your friends,
Oh yeah.
and I literally was winning the least amount of sleep all the time. So
Champion. Hey, you got one championship under your belt.
that's right. That's
So,
right.
so what are your highs? What are some of your scores for all your workouts?
I don't know, man. I gotta go look again. Man, my cardio though, the amount of steps I put in, this was crazy. There was a period of time where I was walking, I think, like almost 200,000 steps a week, and I was just always walking, always running, always walking, always running, push, pull, press. I kept myself always moving. It was like almost 200,000 steps a week, which I think you're supposed to do. Like, what's the average a day? 5,000 steps, 6,000
2,000,
steps.
5,000, 10,000.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was on fire, man. It
How do
was,
you,
it was pretty crazy.
how do your knees feel?
I have bad knees for sure. Man, rugby was tough on is the knees. That's hard on the back. I got in a car wreck back in 2020, and it messed up I herniated my lower disc in my back. So that's been that's been an ongoing recovery for the last 5 years. It's like that's been hard on the body, but the knees for sure. I feel that.
What happened? What kind of car accident? What?
Yeah, I was going through a intersection, like a light, headed to get on the highway, and a lady ran a red light at like I don't know, like 50 miles an hour or something like that. And I had just bought this car too, man. Oh, it was such a bummer. I just bought this car, and she ran into me. We kind of met like this, and yeah, like messed up my hip really bad, messed up my back, broke my nose like in 3 different places. And funny story, when I was in high school, I broke my nose in a rugby match, and my coach popped it back so that I could go back out and play because we didn't have enough subs, so I had to go back in and play. We were like in a final match or quarterfinal, and he popped it back, and I could never smell properly after that. Everything kind of smelled muted. It was hard to explain. The best way I can describe it is like when I had COVID, it was just muted, you know? And then when I got in the car wreck, first thing I noticed, hit the airbag. First thing I noticed was my smell came back. I could smell everything like so pungently, like the airbag fumes. And then I stepped outside, I could smell like the air. And I was like, oh man, like I could smell again. It was the craziest thing. Like I rebroke it straight. Even though I messed my nose up, I rebroke it
Yeah,
straight.
no way. What was like the most pleasant smell that you returned to?
Definitely wasn't airbag fumes, I'll tell you that. Probably like, dude, I'm a big buffalo chicken wing guy. That's my guilty pleasure. Buffalo chicken wings. I could eat endless amounts of buffalo chicken wings. And now I'm trying to experiment. I'm kind of getting into like lemon pepper a little bit these days. But man, buffalo chicken wings. That was beautiful to smell again. And like it smell it like so well.
Did you
Um,
were you hospitalized or no?
yeah, I was. Yeah, I was.
Damn.
Um, yeah, it wasn't the most fun thing I've ever been a part of. sure as hell wouldn't want to do that again. But it happens. It wasn't my fault. Accidents happen. So
I think one question I forgot to ask. I mean, I can't believe we're on an hour already. It's just,
no, you're good,
I could
man.
go
I love
another,
this.
I can go another 2 hours, but I didn't even ask you. Like, hold on one second. I just forgot the name of it because I just got off Pat. So, your new album, Midwest
Yeah,
Calling. I was gonna say Memories of Midwest. Midwest Calling. I didn't even ask.
Memories of the Midwest. That's cool. Damn, I need to keep that title close. That's cool.
I'm good at headlines. The
All
writing,
right. Well,
the
then I
writing's
will
not
hit
so
you
good.
up.
I'm good at five words or less. I'm really good at. But but I mean, how cool was it to come out with the new EP now? I mean, that's
Yeah.
especially now that you are independent now. Is it cool to just
Yeah.
get that all taken care of, all out the door, launched?
Yeah, so I was still at the label when the EP came out just 2 weeks ago. Like last week, the label and I parted ways. So, yeah, so that came out while I was still at the label. I'm very thankful they still put the music out, and those are songs I worked my butt off on, and I've had them for a minute. So I was ready to get the EP out. It's good to have a body of work out there. It definitely buys me a little bit of time while I'm planning the next step, right? So I got to plan, what's my next song? Got to get them recorded. Got to get X, Y, and Z lined up, ready to roll, and that's definitely going to be a learning curve for the next couple of weeks. I haven't done that 7 years independently. So that was really cool to get a body of work out. It's going to, people move on so fast these days. So it's the hard part is trying to keep things relevant. And I think a body of work allows you to waterfall again because what might be old to somebody else or old to me is new to somebody for the first time if they hear it, if it goes viral on TikTok or whatever it might be. So yeah.
Do you listen to your own music when you work out?
Yeah. Well, when I work out, I listen to songs I've written, like demos.
Mhm.
And I think the more I listen, the more I either fall in love or dislike the song. And I'll set a playlist. Like right now, like today, I actually funny enough, I was headed to the gym. I was going to go to the gym, and then I forgot that our Zoom. I knew it was today, but I for some reason thought it was at 4 o'clock. But my manager was like, "No, it's at 1 p.m. Room," and I was like, "Ah, shit, I got to turn back around." So
Oh,
I'm gonna go to the gym later on today, which I'm excited about. And what I do is I make a playlist, and I'll make a playlist of songs I've written, and I'll just go through and I'll figure out which songs I like, what I don't like, which songs I keep coming back to, and then I'll send that to my producer, and we'll kind of go through and figure out which songs we think are the best to go about that way. But yeah, man, that's what I do. That's I work out to my own music. And occasionally, I'm also a repetitive listener, not just with my own music, but with just music in general. Some of my favorite. I don't know if you're a big like rock guy, but some of my favorite bands are like the Cult. Um,
ooh.
yeah, dude. I
Sonic
listen to
Temple, Love, and what's the other? Still top five.
Dude, Sonic Temple, what a great album. Man, like you got Fire Woman and She Sells Sanctuary and
Yes.
and Rain. So I listen to that a lot. And that's also what I grew up listening to. My dad's a big Cult guy, my mom's a big Cult guy. So listen to them. The Clash, Blink 182 is really good to listen to. Um, Obviously, you got to listen to AC/DC. That's just kind of a given when you're in the gym. Like, even though they're a British band, or I think they're British, you're not. You're not American if you don't listen to
I
AC/DC.
do.
So
Last question I do have. What is next for Roman Alexander? What?
yeah, new music.
Mhm.
Yeah, new music. I mean, that's just it. That's always going to be my answer. Is just new music. I'm such a fan of constantly putting out music and keeping it fluent, like all the time. And then just trying not to get fat. I hate that word, but man, trying not to get fat. Like I got to stay in shape. That's a big one for me. It's
Do
just
you cook?
I do cook. Yeah, I cook. But
There's never a last question. It just keeps going on.
I know. Yeah, I do cook. My guilty pleasure is eating out. Like that's a luxury. I'm very like I try to hold on to. Like if somebody was like, you can't spend another dime, but you could spend it on going out to eat. That's it. I would be fine. If I'd be fine never buying a house and just getting to eat out the rest of my life, I'd be cool with that.
That's going there. Okay. One last question. I ask this on almost everybody.
Sure.
When, as a songwriter, how do you know when your song is finished? Like, how do you know when to put it down and not go back to go to the gym, listen to it? Oh, I got to rewrite the last verse, or once it's recorded, like, oh damn, how did I not put this into it? How do you know when it's just done? Put the pen down and never look back.
You just do. You just do. Yeah, you just know. Um, yeah, there's just this like intuition you get where you just know a song's complete. Or sometimes you think it's complete, and then the co-writers, which is the beauty of Nashville. There's so many co-writers, you just know they'll tell you like, "Hey, this ain't done yet, man." Um, but yeah, there's just a feeling like I that's weird and kind of probably a very vague answer, but that's just definitely there's just a vibe. I just know. Um, and then there's some occasionally it's very rarely happened to me that I'm like, "Ah, I need to go back and add this or do something different." But yeah, no, I'm definitely yeah. There's definitely like this. You just know. So that hope that answers that question. I'm not much of a songwriter anymore. Like I am, but I'm more of just a. There's so many great co-writers in Nashville that I lean on them heavily. I come in with the idea or kind of a concept of what I want, and they help to really shape and mold it. That's kind of the best way to put it.
Well, have you ever had one song that you look back and listen to and say, oh wait, this line would have been better.
Oh,
In
oh
life?
yeah, yeah. I've had that. Maybe that's a better response for me to say is yeah. I've had that where like I'll be like listening to a song after it comes out. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have thought of this. Like you just said, Midwest Memories. I'm like, damn, that would have been cool. Like instead of Midwest Calling, but it is, and that it all happens for a reason, and it's out, and that's it. You know.